Okay, so there's some pretty huge news in the cybersecurity world that you're gonna want to hear. A massive data breach has just come to light and it affects millions of email users. Yep, a whole lot of them on Gmail. The big question isn't just what happened, but whether your personal info is now floating around out there for criminals to grab. So let's break it down, starting with a number that's, well, it's pretty shocking.
I mean, just look at that number. 183 million. That's how many unique email accounts we're talking about here. This is not a small leak, folks. It is an absolute flood of personal data that's been scraped together and is now, without a doubt, being used to plan future attacks.
And this is where it gets really personal, right? Because this breach isn't just a list of email addresses. Nope, it's the emails and their matching passwords. So the all-important question you should be asking yourself is my password on that list?
So, to figure out how we protect ourselves, we've got to understand where this all came from in the first place. What was the real source of this breach? Who's the culprit?
All right, let's just get the biggest fear out of the way right now. When you hear that millions of Gmail accounts are involved, your mind immediately goes to, oh my gosh, Google's servers must have been hacked. But let's be super clear. All the sources confirm there's absolutely no sign that Google's actual systems were breached.
And this is the real key to the whole story. The problem wasn't some giant coordinated attack on a corporate fortress like Google. Instead, all this data was slowly, quietly siphoned off piece by piece from thousands and thousands of individual people's computers that were infected with malware.
The weapon they used here is a nasty piece of software called Infostealer Malware, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Think of it as a silent spy that gets onto your computer and just sits there, completely hidden, designed for one purpose: to find and steal your most sensitive info, logins, passwords, you name it.
And this little spy is incredibly good at his job. It grabbed email addresses and passwords, a lot of them in plain text, which means they weren't even scrambled or encrypted. But here's the part that should really give you chills. It also stole browser cookies and authentication tokens. Why is that so bad? Because with those, an attacker can often just walk right past your two-factor authentication. It's like they've stolen the digital key that proves you're you, making your password almost useless.
So let's just quickly look at how this all went down. The actual theft, the malware collecting all this data, was happening months ago, way back in April. It wasn't until October 21st this giant collection of stolen data got loaded into the breach notification service, Have I Been Pwned? And that's when the alarm bells really started going off for everybody.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the threat. Now let's talk about you. It's time to figure out if your account is one of those 183 million, and more importantly, what you can do about it right now.
And the great news here is that you don't have to just sit there and wonder. There is a trusted, super simple way to check if your email got swept up in all of this. And it all starts with one website. And that website is haveibeenpwned.com. If you haven't heard of it, it's a globally respected service run by security pro Troy Hunt. It basically collects data from all these major breaches and lets you safely check if your email address was in any of them. It's a fantastic resource.
Using it is super easy. You just go to the site, type in your email address, and hit enter. It'll scan its massive database and tell you if your account has popped up in any known breaches. Now, for this specific incident, the one you're looking for is called the Synthient Stealer Log Threat Data.
Okay, so what if you check and the news, well, it isn't great? Or hey, even if your email isn't on the list, now is the perfect time to build your digital security plan. Let's walk through how to take back control. First things first, if your email does show up on that list, do not panic. I repeat, do not panic. There are very clear, immediate steps you need to take to lock down your account and protect yourself. Here are the 3 most important things to do, like right now. First, go use Google's own security checkup tool. It's great. It'll show you every device logged into your account so you can kick out anything that looks suspicious. Second, and this is a must, change your password immediately. Make it long, make it random, and make sure you don't use it anywhere else. And third, set up strong two-factor authentication, and I mean strong. A physical security key or a passkey is way better and more secure than just getting a text message. And this right here really drives the whole point home. As the security experts have confirmed, the problem wasn't out there on the cloud somewhere. The data was stolen directly from our own computers. Securing your Google account is the first step for sure, but securing your actual device is the long-term fix.
And you know, this isn't just advice for us as individuals. If you're part of an organization that uses Google Workspace, the risk is obviously much bigger.
The advice for businesses is basically to do the same thing, but at scale. Create stronger password rules for everyone, make multi-factor authentication mandatory, and seriously beef up your anti-malware software across the entire network.
So let's just zoom out for a second, because this breach, it's more than just another scary headline. It actually points to a really big shift in the kinds of threats we all face online. And getting our heads around this is key to staying safe.
You know, we used to think about security as defending against a single huge attack on one big company, like a giant retailer getting hacked. But what the experts are saying is that the game has changed. The new threat isn't one big explosion. It's a constant, slow-motion breach happening on millions of our own devices, creating this continuous river of stolen data.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that the front line of cybersecurity is no longer some distant corporate server farm. It's the laptop on your desk, it's the phone in your hand. The security of our own personal devices is everything now.
And all of this leads to one final kind of tough question. We've just seen that malware can literally steal the keys to the kingdom, completely bypassing some of our best defenses. So in this new world, you really have to ask yourself, is a strong password even enough anymore?